going on, Jerome's audio only podcast? If only there was a name for a YouTube that was just audio. Who knows, man? But I know it's been a trying off season. But overall, I feel like Vikings fans should be very excited. Kwesi going out, addressing very, very much positions of need, doubling down on offensive line, pass rushing D-line, cornerback. I mean, you can pick and choose. Like, hey, you can nitpick a little bit. Oh, what about tight end 3? What about backup quarterback? Like, if you're heading into the draft and your major concerns about who the backup quarterback and who the tight end 3 is going to be, you're in pretty good shape. You're going to be all right, right? And the thing about it is, a lot of the last couple weeks has been consumed by Aaron Rodgers. And all that nonsense and hullabaloo. Were the Vikings interested? I don't think that you can actually say they were seriously interested or 50-50, like the Athletic leaned on. And Pelissero was on Rich Eisen's show earlier, and he was talking about how maybe a little bit of exaggeration there. And I get it. Insiders always carry water for the agents. That's how the game is played this time of year, and take everything, all the reports, with a grain of salt. And as we say, nothing leaks, quote unquote, without an agenda attached to it. Like, no one just out of the goodness of their heart goes out to an NFL insider and says, this is what's going down, right? So either the agent or the team wants that information out there. And once you realize that, then everything gets a lot easier, right? And I don't know. Again, insiders are just so weird. It's like, who cares who's first? I know it's for clicks and views and all that stuff, but no one cares. No one remembers. Like, who was the first person to break Tom Brady signing with the Buccaneers? Who knows? Who cares? All right. Long story longer. So the Rodgers stuff, whatever. Did Kevin O'Connell, Kwesi discuss it? Sure. In the same manner, I'm sure they discussed Darnold and Daniel Jones and Nick Mullins and every other free agent quarterback. They even probably talked about a couple of the draft quarterbacks, even though they're probably not drafting a quarterback. Right? I'm sure that they did some prelim work on Shedeur Sanders and Cam Ward, even though obviously they'll be long gone. Right? But again, long story longer, JJ McCarthy is the guy. And I feel like the narratives around JJ are weird. I understand there's concern. Well, he was just a handoff merchant at Michigan. He didn't throw a touchdown in the national title game against Washington. How good can he really be? Blah, 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 blah. I get it. The tools are there, right? And you got to be blind if you didn't get excited about reports from OTAs or what you saw with your own two eyes during training camp practice, as well as preseason game. And the number one thing that I noticed and loved about JJ McCarthy, besides the throws, besides Kevin O'Connell, like, he didn't baby him. Like, he got the full playbook, just like Sam Darnold, right? Is that JJ always looked loose on the sidelines. He's loose. McCarthy, before, during, and after practice, whenever, like, he wasn't engaged in active coaching or taking practice reps or paying attention, like, he was loose. Like, he was chatting up guys. He was dapping dudes. He was celebrating out there, big time plays, giving people their props. You would not expect that from a rookie quarterback, especially one that came out as a true junior, so 21 years young in the National Football League. Because, I mean, it just shows how people deal with stress. Obviously, it's a stressful situation. Some quarterbacks wouldn't be able to poop out a BB if given laxatives. But McCarthy is loose. You know why? Because he's confident, because he's put in the work. And as we said before, there's a lot of reasons why quarterbacks don't work out in the National Football League. Sometimes it's work ethic. I mean, they get that first couple of paychecks. Maybe that's some of that work ethic goes out the door. Or bad coaching, bad ownership, bad offensive line, bad scheme that doesn't cater to their talents, bad weapons, bad whatever. But JJ McCarthy checks all those boxes. He works his ass off. The money's not going to change him. He does have this quiet alpha attitude confidence. Like, I love the talk from the Vikings free agents that the first person they heard from the Vikings outside of obviously Kwesi, Kevin Connell, was JJ McCarthy. Getting texts, getting messages. I love that because it shows that it's his team, right? And McCarthy's going to put that work in. He's got great coaching with Kevin O'Connell, Wes Phillips, and Josh McCown. He's got great ownership in the Wilfs. Great GM with Kwesi, who actively surrounded him with a great offensive line. Great running game with Jones and Mason. Ooh, Law and Order. Ooh, nailed it. You have the best wide receiver in the game with Justin freaking Jefferson, and you got weapons galore. And you got a great defense opposite of you, and you have good special teams. So again, if JJ McCarthy doesn't work out, it's because he wasn't good enough. And that's okay. You can live with that because all the other quarterbacks, like, hey, Ponder, would he have worked out if he wasn't forced to play as a rookie because Donovan McNabb was terrible? Like, if Ponder would have sat for a year or two, would it have worked out differently? Possibly. Although that team wasn't very talented. Or Teddy, hey, Teddy, if his leg hadn't fallen off in year 3, was he going to turn the corner? We'll never know. But with McCarthy, all those variables are answered. Like, he's going to be good to go. And he's honestly in the best situation for a first-time starting quarterback in NFL history. And I know the media crowned Caleb Williams' ass last offseason. It's the best spot for rookie quarterback ever. How'd that work out? Yeah. But McCarthy, here's what's great. Maybe one day he will be the Messiah. Maybe one day he will be a quarterback that you win because of a true leader of men, a true alpha, a Mahomes, a Lamar Jackson, a Josh Allen, a Joe Burrow type quarterback. Like, maybe he'll be that guy. He doesn't have to be that guy right away. He can be a diet version of Brock Purdy, and the Vikings can have success. The Vikings can win the division. The Vikings can win the conference. The Vikings can go to and win a Super Bowl. All he has to do is be Brock Purdy. And JJ McCarthy can do that. And this is hyperbolic, but also I don't care. I think we're going to look back at Jim Harbaugh and JJ McCarthy at Michigan, and Harbaugh being so ass dedicated to a run-first scheme that it's going to be like Dean Smith and Michael Jordan at UNC. The only person who could hold Michael Jordan under 20 points a game was Dean Smith. And they, in the share of the wealth, equal opportunity, pass, team before self offense. Because I think JJ McCarthy does have all the tools. Like, he's got the mental makeup. He's dynamite off of play action, which obviously fits in well with what Kevin O'Connell wants to do. He's accurate. He can throw off platform. He's got mobility. He's got a hose for an arm. He threatens every single blade of grass, like Kevin O'Connell said repeatedly. He's got all the tools that you want for, and from the neck up, he's good to go. Usually you get one of the two. Usually you get a mentally strong, hardworking quarterback that couldn't throw the ball out of a shadow, or you got the dude who could drop a dime from 70 yards away, but maybe doesn't have it all together above the neck. But the Vikings have that with JJ McCarthy. And Kevin O'Connell, I feel like we don't even talk enough about Kevin O'Connell as a quarterback whisperer. And I honestly feel like O'Connell is an emotional EQ genius. Because he's demanding of his players, but he's not a hard ass. Like, he's not an old school hardliner. And he's played under old school hardliners. Like, he was drafted by Belichick, for goodness sake, right? But also, he's not the pushover players coach. Because he also played for Rex Ryan with the Jets. And, Rex is Rex. But it did feel like the players sort of ran things with the Jets and then with the Bills under Rex Ryan. It happens. I think O'Connell is a perfect balance of both, where it's not the lip service is like, oh, football is family. It does feel like that way with Kevin O'Connell and Kwesi. I love the culture that they built. I love that they are steadfast in protecting it. There's some players that they've passed on in the draft and free agency that would have affected team chemistry, but they put that above everything else. And they've set the table so well for the Vikings that honestly, for the next 10 years, if the Vikings aren't consistently challenging for Super Bowls and winning the NFC, it's going to be disappointing. Because right now, JJ McCarthy's contract, you have 3 more years on his rookie deal plus a 5th-year option. You have 3 years of a Super Bowl window where you can spend like this, where you can spend, go get Will Fries, go get Ryan Kelly, go get Jonathan Allen, go get Javon Hargrave, bring back Murph. Trade for and extend Jordan Mason, and also re-sign Aaron Jones for decent coin. You have 3 years where McCarthy, his cap hits are $5 million, $6 million, $7 million. And then his 5th-year option is going to be, you're going to look to extend him, try and lower that number because it's going to be big, because he's a top 10 pick and he's going to make multiple Pro Bowls. So he's going to accelerate that to the maximum number. But this is the time to do it. And again, JJ doesn't have to play hero ball. All he has to do is hand off to Aaron Jones, hand off to Jordan Mason, hit Aaron Jones on the backfield, play action, perfect timing, perfect protection, hit JJ. Sorry, it's too many JJs in this kitchen, man. Hit Justin frickin' Jefferson, hit Addison when he's off suspension, hit Speedy Naylor deep, hit Rondale Moore over the middle, and then Rondale does Rondale things, hit TJ Hawkinson, hit Oliver in the red zone. What more do you need? And every step of the way, you have potentially the best coach of quarterbacks in the National Football League in Kevin O'Connell. Like, no one, I feel like there's no coach in the game right now, position coach, OC, head coach, whatever, that relates better to their quarterbacks. And you've seen that. Like, he helped get the best out of Stafford winning Super Bowl 2021. He got the best out of Kirk Cousins for a year and a half. He gave this team a pulse with Josh Dobbs, Jaron Hall, the worm of missile. How could we forget? As well as Nick friggin' Mullins. Nick Mullins averaged almost 400 yards a game against the Lions in 2 games in 2023. It's one of my favorite stupid stats. And then, of course, what happened with Sam Darnold last year. Darnold got paid. He looked like the number 3 overall pick. Good for him. Imagine what he can do with JJ McCarthy. Again, I know we're Vikings fans and we temper expectations or even lower expectations. Or it's like, whoa, what if JJ busts? What if he doesn't? Again, best situation for a first-time starting quarterback in NFL history, bar none. Easily. What's going to happen? What if JJ McCarthy leads the Vikings to a Super Bowl within the next 3 years? Because then you're going to have to extend JJ McCarthy. But by then, you're hoping that he's going to have the skills to carry a roster that has a lot lower salaries across the board. And that's the blueprint. And what if this works? What if JJ McCarthy stays healthy, is the guy, and he and Kevin O'Connell and Justin friggin' Jefferson, because those are the pillars you aren't moving, they're able to wreck this league for 10, 12, 15 years. I know we're Vikings fans and we're not allowed to hope, but just take a second and imagine what that could be like. Where this could be the start of the run and you don't even realize it. And you want Aaron Rodgers. Nah. Have faith. I really hope JJ McCarthy works out. Otherwise, me and Thor are going to have to eat a lot of poop. But again, if it doesn't work out, it means it's not good enough. I can live with that. All of the other aspects of if a quarterback will succeed or not have been checked. And I love what Kwesi has done with the Vikings. I love what Kevin O'Connell is doing with the Vikings. I just love this team in general. Future's bright, baby. Let's go. Anyways, that's it. Raw Real Rant, audio form. Skull, no production value.